I see a lot of questions in there, and we'll go from there. Yellow Yup Candle says, buy the fear. Yeah, and that's just it. Like, you can do that, but I mean, we've been buying, most of us have been buying throughout the whole bear market. And, you know, we talk about in this channel, there's a reason why I have these rules right here, right? Number one rule, don't invest more than you can afford to lose because it's all gone anyhow. Second one, everything's a scam until proven otherwise. That'll save your butt many times. Don't leave anything on exchanges. Don't use leverage. Take profits along the way. Those are the rules that I have. And that's it for there. So as far as keep buying, you can do it. But it's, at some point, you're going to have to take profits. Tucker Carlson was great. It was really funny. It's a very interesting meme coin because meme coins don't do anything. At least this one has some entertainment value to it. There's also that, and there's also Netflix. I know. But I don't like to talk too much about the meme stuff here because this isn't the channel for that. You guys know what you're getting here when you come to this channel, right? The best data I can give you, see where we're actually at, try to calm everybody's nerves. And the Dan Degen channel is like, hey, you want to go to a casino? I know a bunch of them. That's pretty much it. Let's see. We in DMs with Tucker. Great. Let's see. Yassine High says, it's not an average of 10 months. All right. Well, good news is because, like, I linked this in the description, this, the Fed pivot slideshow. And, you know, you can see here this from Statista. I mean, you've got from February 2020 to April 2020, 2 months, 80 to 80, January 80 to July 80, 6 months. I mean, you just take those numbers and average them out, it's 10 months. So, I don't know. Maybe it's 10.5 months. I don't know. Close enough. Let's see. But take that up with Statista. I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. I'll get to the second one. What's a small investor here? What's better, 1,000 Doge or 1 Solana? You know what always, first of all, if it's me, I would just put it in one. Actually, no. I'd put it all into Bitcoin because if I just want the more assurance or bang for my buck, I'll probably go into the safest, less risky asset in the most turbulent asset class that's out there. So that would be me. And like these questions here, like I never understood, like, as long as we all know that this is for entertainment value, right? When I see like Jim Cramer on Mad Money, like he can't give financial advice, but yet here he is just talking about you should buy, you should do this. And then people will call in, hey, what should I do here? Should I do that? You should buy that. You should get that. I'm like, how the heck does that guy get away with that? As long as, I guess it's just as long as we all know it's entertainment, right? And I hate having to say that constantly. Whatever. So anyhow, 1,000 Doge or 1 Solana, I'd probably put into Bitcoin first. Actually, I would probably split it up. Why don't you diversify? You got $1,000. Why don't you put roughly 800 into Bitcoin and maybe 150 into Solana and then 50 into Doge? That might work out. Jim Cramer. Is it a good time to buy in Cardano? If you take a look at the risk bands, it's a really great time because it's really underperforming. So if you're looking at wristbands and you believe in the project, probably be the time. Redman says sell, sell, sell. Redman could be correct because if we start, and here's another thing. If we have issues here, oh, there was one more thing. There's one more thing about that article I forgot to mention, which is kind of important. I should have said this. This was here. Was that lessons can be drawn from the 70s. Remember that? Volcker, higher for longer. So in that era, there was a cycle of low growth and double-digit inflation. And it only stopped after the Fed raised rates sky high. Volcker essentially avoided a depression by giving a very heavy-handed recession. But it had to be done. And that's one of those things right now. Like if we're going to go higher for longer and we're still seeing slight inflation, what's the Fed supposed to do? Just sit back and be like, well, it's cool. It'll be just fine. No, no, no. If they don't raise rates, it could get very ugly very fast. So yeah. How many tokens would you suggest for a portfolio under 2,000? I don't know. Depends on what you want to do. And it depends on where you're at in your life, right? Like Zrigo, you look like a young guy. You don't have any gray in your beard yet. So I always feel like the younger you are, the more risks you should probably think about taking. Like if I'm talking about 90% into Bitcoin or 80% into Bitcoin and then 15% into the top 10 alts and then 5% into some risky stuff, maybe you could scale that back to 70, 25, 5. Yeah, 70, 25, 5. Or 70, 20, 10. Yeah, actually, that'd be pretty bad. But again, it's I can't really tell you because I don't really know what your goals are. Some people would just say, well, I'm just going to stack Bitcoin, which is probably the best thing unless you're active in the market. Here's an example. There was a project called Orion that I got into when I first started this channel, like way a long time ago. And there was some red flags, which was, because I was kind of new, that the people who had the project, they weren't doxxed. They were hiding behind some anonymous names. Red flag 1. But they launched, did pretty good, didn't take any profits. And then because I didn't pay attention to it, they're like, oh yeah, you have to trade this protocol token for this new protocol token. And if you don't, we're just going to burn the old ones. Of course, I didn't pay attention and it's all gone. $5,000 down the tubes. So Zrigo, all honesty, if you're not sticking around, just put into Bitcoin and stick it in cold storage. Make sure you save your private keys and go from there. What town would you recommend to live in Puerto Rico? Do you like to engage with people? Do you like tourists? Do you like loud noises? That would be down in San Juan. Or even old San Juan would be a great place for you. Do you not like people? And do you like quiet and serenity? Maybe you could go to Rincon or Guaynabo. That might be a better place for you. Or up into the mountains. It just depends on what you want to do. Cardano is underperforming for a reason. I'm sure that's a great debate for a lot of people that I don't want to get into. Flight to safety, Bitcoin. Yeah. Can Sui be the next Solana? Sure. Why not? Those who say sell just want to buy the dip. Reverse psychology. Probably so. Who knows? You know, for everybody out there that says, you know, everything's tanking, there's going to be someone that's going to say, you know, this is just market makers and this is just whales manipulating the market and institutions so they can get all your Bitcoin. And you're like, I guess so. They did a hellaciously good job in 2022. So hats off to them. Touche. Redman says, Environment's right. Farming airdrops is the best way to succeed for people who have small funds. There's a, if you follow me on X, we just talked about the Aether airdrop. And I think that Aether is going to be great. I mean, the DePIN narrative is huge and AI is huge and they've merged them together. So check me out. There's a link in the description for that. But Aether's having their airdrop and that I think is going to be a very massive project. And also follow CryptoCito. Follow Lady of Crypto, and also Guy from Coin Bureau just did a shout out to CryptoCito about airdrop. So follow those guys because they'll steer you in the right direction as opposed to all the different scam sites that are out there. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Good luck. Trying to connect your hot wallet to too many places. Scammers love to steal your money. The Shaolin says, I'm just saying, they might tax unrealized gains because they want to pay off the national debt. They will print money. True. If they do this, all assets go up and no one will have capital losses. Yeah, but I mean, if you're just sitting on, that's just it. If you're just sitting on all these unrealized gains and you got to pay your taxes, how do you do that? There's only one way to do it. You got to sell it and you got to find buyers. And it just depends on how much they're going to print to infinity. I mean, are we going to turn it to Zimbabwe? Who knows? Eh, scary times. Solana is the next Solana. Near protocol users going higher. Yeah, I like Near. Near is one of those projects that I was not a believer in them because I'm like, ugh, just another altcoin. But everything changed when I worked with Sweatcoin, which I thought was going to be massive and wasn't. It's like pretty much a stable coin now. Anyhow, and Near Protocol, what they did was they allowed for the token generation event of the TGE of Sweatcoin to be placed on the blockchain. You have to remember that Sweatcoin was a global app, and it was one of the top 5 or top 6 global health and fitness apps anywhere. And it had over 200 million downloads and users. And they actually took 60 million of those who were active users and put them on the blockchain. There was no slowdown. There was no lag. There was no, oh, we got to restart our validators. It just worked. And from then on, I was a big believer. And that's why I've been accumulating Near for quite some time. Anything new about Hong Kong? Apparently, April 30th will be the listing of the Bitcoin ETF. So we'll see how that comes out. But remember, it's not like an ETF in the States. It's not like they're going to be putting hundreds of billions of dollars through. It's a much lower amount. But we'll see, because we all know, well, we know that Hong Kong is essentially a proving ground for mainland China. And if it works out over there, maybe China could actually pick it up. And there's actually rumblings about China starting to accept Bitcoin. We'll see. BRICS and stuff like that. What else? I'll buy you a beer if you come to Tulsa. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Not a bad place to be. Danny says, guy only talked about Cosmos for airdrops. Far too much advertisement in Coin Bureau recently. Stop videos every 5 minutes. I get it, but I miss the old Coin Bureau. Got to pay the bills. Sweatcoin should do a more you run, the more they burn tokens. That's a great idea. I should let me talk to Oleg about that. Pretty good. Kaya says, I am 53 and still buying crypto. I want to go back and collecting more silver and gold instead of these days. Crypto seems to be slowed down. True. I got nothing against precious metals. I own gold and silver. I don't understand why they hate us so much. I think we're all in the same tent, but whatever. But yeah, if you feel like this is the time, go ahead. I will tell you, if you've been accumulating in this bear market and now you're like, you know what, I got enough. Maybe it is time. Just go someplace and get some other things and diversify. That's great. Like for us, I mean, our bigger diversification is, it's not stocks, it's not bonds, it's real estate. It's land and real estate. Me and the wife love that aspect of it, especially short-term and long-term rentals. So if you think this is time for you, it's time for you. Nothing wrong with that. Ooh, I doubled my position when Near Protocol went down to 450. That's pretty good. I think it's over 7 now. Not bad. You can avoid scams. Not. Nah, you can avoid scams by educating yourself. You can, but even as much as we educate ourselves, those scammers, they have an innate ability to figure out ways around it. And they don't have to have 100% success rate. They only need like a 1%. So if even they attack the smartest people and the most educated, they're going to find somebody who maybe had a really crappy day and they're just mentally not into it. They're like, fine, I'll just do this one thing. And then they lose, their hot wallet. I think the better thing to do is to set yourself up and, get yourself first of all, never have the majority of your funds on a hot wallet. Can we all agree that's not a great idea? Put the majority of your things in a cold storage wallet. Back up your seed phrases. Stick that someplace else. And if you'd like to get a cold storage wallet, I don't have an affiliate link for Ledger. I'm not a big fan of them anyhow, but I have one. I just use Tangent mostly for what it is right now. And it's inexpensive and works really well. And it looks like this, just a card. Look at that. And since 2018, 0 hacks. So battle tested. Ooh, Oklahoma about to get a crypto-friendly bill passed. That's pretty good. Celsius scammed even the smartest of people. Trust nobody. Exactly. Trust nobody, not even me. Everything that comes out of my mouth, you have to double check. Old guy tech. Tangent. That's right. Or, I don't know what that is. But, like I said before, I'll probably do great in a bull run because everything else does. I never thought of it that way. It's pretty good. Imagine when gold was coming up as the world's store of value, and you had to convince people why it's a better store your wealth than chocolate or salt or seashells or whatever else. That's what we're going through right now. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was on this Twitter Spaces, and smart guys in there. Never got a chance to really, talk, but there was it was guys who they'd been in crypto for a bit, I could tell, but there was some things like one of the things that one of the gentlemen said was, he goes, yeah, it's incredible now. He goes, now that we have this Bitcoin halving behind us, now the issuance rate of gold, we are far less than what the issuance rate of gold being is right now. Of course, that just happened with the Bitcoin halving, so now we're starting to really catch up and understand this. And I was like, well, that's true, but in the code and for what it's always been put out, it was always going to be that way. In 4 years, it's going to be even less. In 4 years, it's going to be less than that. It's like people know it, but they don't understand it until it actually happens to them. I think that's where we're at right now. Somebody woke up and chose violence. Hope is not strategy for all Cardano holders. Really putting salt in the wounds, man. Okay. Jung Chao, been a long time, buddy. Heard Eigenlayer, which is restaking on Ethereum, is the next hot airdrop at the moment. A16Z put 100 million investment is no joke. The fact people use Pendel, YouTube mechanisms to leverage 30x to get it's insane to me. Look, I know that people love this thought of restaking and it's going to be great, but after all the things that we've been through and all the shenanigans with the other types of platforms, I'm staying well away from this one. I don't know. I understand a little bit of how it works, but if you're able to take your Ethereum, stake it, then take that liquid staking and then be able to collateralize that or use it wherever you want to and just keep leveling up. I'm sure there's a better way to explain it, and I'm sure I'm not truly understanding it, but when I first saw it, I'm like, I'm never going to do that. Restaking is not an area for the normies. It's not going to work. I always take a look at this as fractional reserve lending, but sure. It's nice to see Jay Jung Chao. That's right. There's still a reward for the wanted Jarky. That's right. But when Jarky comes back, definitely in the bull run. If everybody doesn't know Jarky, he was a gentleman who would always come on and give away memberships. Great person. Tucker Kurlson. Yeah. Solana has a break first, fix later mentality. Even after it comes out, expect bugs. I need to iron out for a year, which makes me wonder about this fire dancer. Everybody talks about it in Solana. Like, this is the thing that's going to propel it to the next level. And it's going to be so fantastic. I'm like, well, historically speaking, Solana seems to like to break stuff first. But of course, that's where the rewards are. You got to come in early and you got to take that risk. Tumo says, is it smart to dollar cost average Bitcoin and ETH? Yes. I think it's smarter to dollar cost average Bitcoin and ETH as opposed to saying, you know what? I'm going to take my life savings and put it all in right now. You could do that. And this would probably be not the worst time, but I still think we're going to go lower. But if you do it right now and you have a 4-year time horizon at minimum, I still think you're good. My boy, Smart Money Crypto. What's up, man? Getting younger by the week. What you eating? It just comes down to, I had that problem with my back. So getting over that was big. And then today, it's 1:50. I got to be to the beach over at the Condado areas. No, that's not it. Beachfront. To go play volleyball. That's what it is. I think is healing yourself up, having and if you guys have noticed, I don't really have too much stress. What's great about being in this industry is just there's a video I'd like you to watch of why I think I'm not so stressed out. This half and half video where like whenever you get into a position, just wait for it to double and then sell half. And then wait for it to double again, then sell that half, and double again, sell that half. So anytime you're doing this, you're playing with house money. What I always hate is when like I'm investing and then like I let everything ride and I'm like, okay, 10x, right? And it doesn't 10x. And you're like, where'd all my money go? Now, if you do a couple of double X's, hey, it's all house money. Yeah, you guys. Well, this part's true, but you've also got a nice little plan. So you guys don't know Smart Money Crypto. This guy he was on the show and we talked about his strategy, which is a good strategy. What we use is like Arkham and a couple of different platforms to find these whale wallets, which essentially could be the smart money. I call it big money. And he just follows them. Whatever they do, he kind of likes to look at the project, goes, oh, this might be a good time to buy. And then when they sell, he sells. When they buy, he buys. And there's more to it than that. Check out his channel, Smart Money Crypto, because he just follows the smart money. Seems to work out pretty well. Rob looks either 82 with no stress or 28 with a ton of stress. I'll take the 82. I'm 75. Old guy tech. I took Rob's advice and I DC'd all to the bear. Now I'm playing with house money. Yeah, this is the greatest. This is the greatest. The thing that sucks is all the tourists that come in. They're like, should I buy right now? And you're like, well, you can give it a shot. But of course, you know what's going to happen with those guys. You get Bitcoin the price you deserve. You get crypto the price you deserve. I mean, we can tell them until we're blue in the face. Hey, you should really dollar cost average and you shouldn't really get in. And the best time to buy really was in the bear market, but I know you didn't want to because you're supposed to listen to me and you totally ignored me, but that's fine. Go right ahead and get into it right now and see what happens. And then when you're going to tell them to sell, they'll be like, yeah, sounds like a good plan. And they'll ride it all the way up and all the way down because they're geniuses. This is why I'm stepping down from the channel. Yeah. Brian says, are we still in a bear market? Depends on how you define it. If you look at Investopedia, their definition of a bear market is 20% drops. And then also the market sentiment is bearish and is a long-term bearish sentiment. So right now, if you take a look at Fear and Greed Index, I think we're in the 68, 70, somewhere around there. And of course, I don't know if we've had a 20% drop in the total market cap. I know we haven't had a certain drop in Bitcoin. No. So we should be somewhat in a bullish-ish market, but I think things will change. I think we're going to see a little bit more volatility come. That's what everybody says. Volatility. I don't know. Thanks, man. Some alpha, smart money, stable coins at all-time lows. Last time this happened was April 21st. Sounds pretty good. Zrigo says, what's the main 3 narratives in your opinion? I'll give you 4. And it's DePIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network, right? It is Web3 gaming. I think it's a no-brainer because even when we get into the bear market, people are still going to play games. They still want to own their things. Web3 people. Web2 people will figure out at some point. AI, artificial intelligence. And there's one more. I think not too many people talk about. I think it will be big. And that is layer 2s and side chains on Bitcoin. I think those projects, and there's over 12 now. I think there's over 15 now. Those will allow Bitcoin to be what it was supposed to be, which if you take a look at the white paper, is peer-to-peer transactions. I know people say, well, that's what Lightning does. Well, if Lightning does that so great, why isn't everybody using it? When's the last time you used Lightning? I got to tell you, I haven't used Lightning for 6-7 months or something like that. Just haven't. So with these layer 2 solutions and smart contracts compatibility, especially on the EVM, I think it could do very well. And that's why I've gone through a lot of different projects to invest in that. If you want to find those projects, there's a secondary channel called Dan Degen. Again, that's not a discussion for this channel. Brother, we can't be in a bear market when hitting all-time highs. How long ago was that? How long ago was that? I'm just saying. I don't think it's bearish. There's bearish sentiment, but a total full-on bear market. And everybody defines it a little bit differently, right? Because I mean, if you take a look at like 20% in TradFi is like the worst day of all time. 20% drop in crypto is a Tuesday. Who cares? I don't roll out of bed for anything under 20%. What about Tucker Kurlson? Have you talked about it yet? Joey, I talked about it. You just missed it. We talked about Tucker. And where did I put him? Right here, which was hilarious. And we talked about, oh, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about before we wrap up here, is that when you're looking at CoinGecko to find all the information on these new projects, you know that CoinGecko doesn't go back to the initial TGE or token generation event. Because look at this. This is April 9th, right? But if you go to a place called dextools.io, this is Tucker Carlson. And it goes all the way back to 10th of March. And you can see a 10th of March, it's very hard to see, I'm sorry, it's very hard to see, but it's 0.0001. And didn't really take off until, wow, is this the 14th? Yeah, 4 days later. 14th of March. And this is where that half and half method comes from. Let's say you put $1,000 into this project. Imagine that, $1,000 at 0.00003. And then it goes up to 0.0002. You're heavily in the money. If you would have taken half the project profits right there, and it's all house money here, and it drops, you're like, who cares? And then it comes up here, and it doubles. 0.004. Well, that's really double too much. Actually, it would have doubled over here, even more so. You would have sold again. And then it would have dropped, and be like, I don't care. House money, baby. And then it comes to 0.0007 and comes to this, a penny and a half. Come on, get out of here. So like, these are the things that I look at. I'm like, this is a good one. I mean, this is a risky one. At least it's entertaining. And if you want to know, like when you go to Dex Tools, let me go back. Let's put in Tucker. There's a bunch of stuff here. How do I know which one it is? Which one should it be? Here's what I do. Go to CoinGecko. Is it listed? Ah, man. What'd I do? All right. See this thing called contract? Copy that. Then go to dextools.io. Instead of putting in the ticker, just put in the contract and click on the first one. And there you go. But yeah, Tucker is hilarious. Some people might not like it, but I thought it was funny. I'm not too mature to not laugh at some goofy jokes. And let's see how it goes. Right now, I think Tucker on CoinGecko went from a whopping 2 cents to almost 10 in a very short amount of time. And now it's dropped down to 4 cents. So something to look at. Something to look at. Brian's got a good question. Would you sell Ajax Singularity or hold until after the merger with FET and Ocean, which is Fetch AI and Ocean into ASI? What Brian's talking about is there's going to be a merger for 3 crypto companies, which I think is exciting. And you're going to get a whole new token. Me personally, I wouldn't sell anything until that merger. But again, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing. It's when it happens. But I think it's interesting that you got 3 crypto projects in AI that all do something a little bit different, and they're all going to combine forces. It's like the Avengers or something. We'll see. It's on. All right. Tony Cook says, instead of selling 80% in crypto, isn't it better only selling enough until the next bull run of 4 years? After all, aren't you going to find yourself still buying more afterwards? Yes. However, think of it this way. It'd be difficult. Well, let's just go like this. So if you sold anywhere near the top, 53,000, 54,000, let's say 50,000 for Bitcoin. Let's just use that example, right? And you had two. Well, now when you sell, you've got $100,000 and do whatever you want with it. And that's the thing, because some people will say, well, why would I sell it? And again, this is a personal opinion. Like, why would I sell it? Because fiat is trash. And everybody's telling me Bitcoin's going to 1 million. And Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, they can't lose and they'll never sell it. El Salvador is just one of the nation states that are countries that are going to use that continuously. Why would I sell it? They're going to turn the money printers on, and it's just going to go crazy, and then the price of Bitcoin will go up. That's what the indicators are for. So you can take a look at it like that and say, I should never sell. Or you can take a look at it like how I look at it. I've heard the same thing since 2017. I've heard Bitcoin's going to go to this. I've heard that fiat is trash. I've heard that institutions are coming, and they did come. And the ETF was great, and we had massive volume. But it seems like we're still getting these on-ramps on to really move forward to get us into the global acceptance of what it's supposed to be. So for me, I still believe that's going to be there 4 year cycles. Maybe I'm wrong. So when I start to sell, if you would have sold, you have 100,000, right? Bitcoin went to what, 15.7 at some point, maybe 20,000. If your goal is to have more Bitcoin now than what you had before, then the whole thing would be sell a little bit when things get super overheated, take some profits off, have that cash on the sidelines. Maybe a business deal comes up. Maybe something happens. Because once everything starts to fall, I mean, Bitcoin fell from 67,000 down to 15.7. And it stayed at around the 15, 20 mark for quite some time. So for me, if I have 100,000 and it goes to 20,000, let me do some quick math here. It's like 5 Bitcoin instead of my 2. So I'm just saying, if you can do it like that, you're not buying it at a higher cost. It's a different way of taking a look at with fiat currency. I'd sell everything and go into plastics. That's fine. And Serge says, altcoins are mostly bleeders against Bitcoin or ETH. You don't want to keep them there. That's also true. Because I default to Bitcoin. But yeah, it's a big thing. Like if you take a look at Bitcoin, I mean, 60%, somewhere around there. But I mean, some alts are getting crushed. 80, 90, 95%, 90%, and some don't even exist anymore. So again, there's no alts that I look at and go, this will be around for 20 years. I think most of them are trash, and I'm just here to trade. And if some of them prove me wrong, great. That's why I only sell 80%. 20% will get me to, well, I'm already set up. So that's it for that. So look, guys, it's been going on for almost an hour. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive, but that's it for today. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Get outside, enjoy the day, wherever you're at.